Hello children, welcome on. Let's have a quick recap of the chapter cell structure and functions. Till now, in last session, we have learned about different parts of the cell. In that, the basic components of cell are cell membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus. About cell membrane, what is cell membrane? The cytoplasm and nucleus are enclosed within the cell membrane, which is also called the plasma membrane. And the cell membrane or plasma membrane, it separates cells from one another, and also it separates the cell from the surrounding medium. The plasma membrane, or otherwise called as cell membrane, is porous, and thus it allows the movement of substances or materials both inward and outward. So these are the functions of cell membrane, which is otherwise called as plasma membrane. Then we have also learned that cell membrane gives shape to the cell, and in plant cell, in addition to the cell membrane, there is an outer thick layer, what we call that as cell wall. Then we have learned the reason why plant cells need cell walls. The additional layer surrounding the cell membrane called as cell wall is required by plant for protection. Plant cells need protection against variations in temperature, high wind speed, atmospheric moisture, etc. And as plants are exposed to these variations, because they cannot move, they need protection. For this, they need cell wall. Then we have learnt about what is cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is a jelly-like substance present between the cell membrane and the nucleus. And what is its function? It provides space for various other components. The various other components of cell, which are otherwise called as cell organelles. They are present in the cytoplasm. Our cytoplasm provides space for those cell organelles like mitochondria, Golgi bodies, ribosomes, vacuoles, lysosomes, etc. Then learned about nucleus. So where is it present? Nucleus is present at the center of the cell. And what are the different parts of nucleus? Nucleus consists of nuclear membrane, nucleoplasm, nucleolus, and nuclear material, otherwise called as chromatin reticulum, or this chromatin reticulum, which can be seen as chromosome during cell division. So these are the different parts of nucleus. Then about nucleus, it is an important component of living cell, and it is generally spherical and located at the center of the cell. It can be stained and can be seen easily with the help of microscope. Nucleus is separated from the cytoplasm by a membrane called nuclear membrane. Like cell membrane, nuclear membrane is also porous and allows the movement of materials between the cytoplasm and the nucleus, inside the nucleus. And if we see with a higher magnification by a microscope, we can see a smaller spherical body which is present inside the nucleus, what we call that as nucleolus. And in addition, nucleus also contains thread-like structure called chromosome. And these chromosomes, they carry genes which help in inheritance, or otherwise called as transfer of characters from parents to the offspring. And this chromosome can be seen only during cell division. That is, when the cell divides, that time only chromosomes can be seen. Then in addition to the role of inheritance, nucleus also acts as a control center, or you can tell it controls all the activities of the cell. And then we have learned about the entire content of the cell, what we call that as protoplasm. That is, what is entire content? Protoplasm includes cytoplasm and the nucleus. So cytoplasm and the nucleus together, what we call that as protoplasm. So we can tell protoplasm is also called the living substance of the cell. Then about gene. Gene is a unit of inheritance of in living organism. It controls transfer of hereditary characteristics from parents to the offspring. This means that our parents or your parents pass some of their characteristics to you. Because of different combination of genes, that is, we get combination of genes from both the parents, which result in different characteristic. We entirely different by appearance by our parents. That is, we entirely differ than our parents because we have the different combination of genes from both the parents. Now, and then we have learnt about what are prokaryotes or what are prokaryotic cell. The nucleus which do not have a nuclear membrane, that is, the cells having nuclear material without nuclear membrane are termed as prokaryotic cell. That is, the cell will be having nucleolus, this material, or we can call that as chromatin material. But without nuclear membrane, we call them as prokaryotic cell, and the organism which has this prokaryotic cells are called prokaryotes. Examples: bacteria and blue-green algae. And then what are eukaryotes or what are eukaryotic cells? The cells like onion cells and cheek cells. They have well organized nucleus, that is, which has a nuclear membrane, are called as eukaryotic cells, and all organisms other than this bacteria and blue-green algae are called eukaryotes. And now let us continue. When we observe onion cells under the microscope, we may notice some blank structure in the cytoplasm, what we call that as vacuole. So what is vacuole? In the cytoplasm, it is one of the cell organelle, and vacuole is nothing but a blank space which has a membrane bound structure, is called as vacuole. And in onion cell, if we see, it could be a single vacuole, space which is seen as big. But if you see that cheek cells, that is animal cell, cheek cells will have smaller vacuoles. So larger vacuoles are common in plant cells, and vacuoles in animal cells are much smaller, and we may see many vacuoles in animal cells. So this is the difference between plant cell and animal cell. This is the second difference we are learning, children. That is, first difference we have learned that plant cell has a cell wall, which is outer covering of the cell membrane, what we call that as cell wall, but cell wall is absent in animal cells. And now second difference, in plant cells, vacuole is larger and it is very few or single, and in animal cells vacuoles are many and smaller. And if you see here the picture, vacuoles, it is a fluid filled membrane bound space that is inside. You can see that one light blue color, what is that called as vacuole. It is a fluid filled membrane bound spaces, blank space known as vacuole. And in animal cell, either the vacuoles are absent, or if present, they are very small in size and are temporary. That is, temporarily it will be present. Vacuoles will be very small and many, but that vacuoles are not permanent in animal cell. But children, you keep in mind, in animal cell, there will be many vacuoles and smaller in size. And see here in plant cell, here what we have seen is in the figures in previous also, that is a plant cell, because you can see that inside one light blue color, deep inside that is large one empty space filled, nothing is there inside, that is called as vacuole. Plant vacuole are large and permanent. And the outer membrane of the vacuole, what we call that as tonoplast, and is filled with fluid, cell sap, that is, it is filled with fluid. This is for your extra information, but you should keep in mind that plant cell vacuole is large and very few in number, and in animal cells vacuoles are very many and smaller in size. And what is the function of vacuole? It provides turgidity and rigidity. That is stiffness. It provides turgidity and rigidity, and also they store some substances. You can tell they store some excretory waste product in animal cells. But children, so generally we can tell they store substances. So it provides turgidity and rigidity, and also they store substance. And next, we pass on to our next organelle. So, we may have noticed several small colored bodies in the cytoplasm of the cells of Tradescantia leaf. That is, if you see this leaf in a microscope, we can see very small colored bodies. What we call them as, which is scattered in the cytoplasm, what we call them as plastids. So it is the next organelle. What we see in is plastids, and they are usually plastids are of different colors. Some of them contain green pigment, what we call that as chlorophyll, isn't it? Chlorophyll. So green colored plastids are called chloroplast, and they provide green color to the leaves. And chlorophyll in the chloroplast of leaves is essential for photosynthesis. As we know that photosynthesis is a process by which green plants can make their own food. But children, so what are plastids? Plastids are colored bodies, which are small colored bodies which are present in the cytoplasm of the cell. And especially these plastids are present only in plant cell, and they scattered in the cytoplasm of the leaf. If you observe leaf, you can see that chloroplast. That is green color plastid. They are of different colors. Some of them contain green pigment called chlorophyll, and chlorophyll in the chloroplast is essential for photosynthesis. See, children, this way plastid looks, but this is for your reference. See, only plastids are found only in plant cell. If you see, plastids are of three types: leucoplast, chromoplast, and chloroplast. Leuco means colorless. So colorless plastids are called leucoplast. Chromo means color. Colored plastids, not plastic, it is plastids. Plastids are called chromoplast. In that, green colored plastids, they are called as chloroplast. For children, so there are three types of plastids: leucoplast, colorless plastid; chromoplast, colored plastids; and green colored plastids are called as chloroplast. And what are the functions of plastids? As we seen the three types of plastids, we know that chloroplast help in photosynthesis. Leucoplast, that is colorless plastids, they store food, fats, etc. And chromoplast, they provide color, imparts color to the flowers. So chromoplast imparts color to the flowers. So these are the functions of plastids. From the name itself, we can write the function. Chloroplast, because it contains chlorophyll, it helps in photosynthesis. Leucoplast, colorless plastids, which help to store food, fats, etc. And chromoplast, colored plastids, it imparts color to flowers. Flowers are very colorful, isn't it? That is due to chromoplast. And if you see that chloroplast, it is a double membrane organelle. You can see the two covering is double membrane organelle containing stroma and stacked lamellae and grana. This and all you will be learning in your higher classes. So grana, which contains green pigment called chlorophyll, that helps in photosynthesis. So about plastid, you have to just keep in mind three types of plastids: chloroplast, which contains chlorophyll helping photosynthesis; leucoplast, colorless plastid used to store food, fats, etc. and chromoplast imparts color to the flowers. So these are the three types of plastids. And so children, so till now we have learnt about three main parts of cell, that is cell membrane, cytoplasm, which in turn contains smaller components, what we call that as organelles, and nucleus. And nucleus is separated from cytoplasm by its membrane called as nuclear membrane. And cell without well organized nucleus, that is lacking nuclear membrane, they are called as prokaryotic cells. Example, bacteria and blue-green algae. And the cell which contains well-defined nucleus, that is which has nuclear membrane, are called as eukaryotic cells. Other than this, bacteria and blue-green, all other blue-green algae, all other organisms are eukaryotic cells. And then we have learned plant cell differ from animal cell by having additional layer around the cell membrane called as cell wall. And then colored plastids are found in plant cells only. So plastids are found in plant cells only. So green plastid containing chlorophyll, which are called as chloroplast, help in photosynthesis. And plant cell has big central vacuole. Animal cell has smaller vacuoles, and they are many in number. Okay children, we will end the session now. Thank you.